plumage is about having a natural selection process for who you want to talk to, who you don't want to talk to, and especially, are you interested in dating? Like, it's very much that bird's mating where you show off the feathers and you show off what you got. Is like, this is the moment where there's a little bit of early selection. And that's that moment where you get to communicate silently with another person to see if there's going to be some basic alignment.
100%.
And
100%.
Whether it's like a friendship or otherwise, there are a lot of people who do this thing of, well, you have to get to know the real me. And then you'll like, I'm like, but yeah, you're not making this easy for anyone because you're working so hard to stand not out whatsoever.
Oh, hello, Taliesin.
Hello, dear.
Oh, I should have. I started this off.
Yes,
wrong.
Ashley. Oh, you had.
Hi, Taliesin.
Hi, Ashley. You look so mysterious.
Don't
and,
I look so fashionable? Actually,
you look like you should be sitting by the pool at the Beverly Hills Hotel on a cloudy day.
Oh,
not a just a little bit.
No, just a little bit of a cloudy
No
day,
one's
and
sunning.
it's still too shiny for me.
Yeah,
it's too sunny.
You've got those nice points that give just a little bit of like 1950s like B actress. You know what I mean.
I sure do. You look fabulous, Taliesin.
Thank you.
Like, this is probably my favorite outfit I've ever seen you in.
Thank you.
And that says a lot because you wear some solid outfits.
Bless you.
You have one of my favorite styles of like our group of friends.
You as well have one of my favorite styles.
Thank
a few of our
you.
friends need style.
Sure.
In fact, most of them.
Yes.
But I feel that about an enormous amount of the population of the country I come from. But that's a conversation for another. No, not for another day. It's a conversation for today. Today is the day to talk about fashion and clothing.
Fashion.
And why it's important.
Yes.
It's important for you.
So we have been getting some amazing responses and questions in our mailbag.
Mm-hmm.
And I peeped a little at some of them. Some, like...
So bad.
Y'all are very cool and are putting some really amazing things in there. But one of these actually very much applied to what we're going to be talking about today. So I thought maybe it could be fun to start with one of these from our mailbag.
I'm so glad our weird children brought
our
it to
weird
us.
children are like starting to. We're now at enough episodes in where people are singing that we have a space where you can go.
Lumplings and otherwise, yeah.
Yes,
let's go.
Little
All right,
dumplings.
let's bring it.
So this is from @Xironology. Xironology?
Maybe Xironology. I'll take it.
Dear Ashley and Taliesin, apologies. Dear Ashley and Taliesin, over the past 10 years, the two of you have been an inspiration to be the weird kid I am today.
Aw.
As a teenager, I always felt watched when I wore the odd fashion I love. Nowadays, I stopped feeling that way and make bold choices. When did you find and feel comfortable in your style? So I was like, that's a pretty heavy question. But I was like, this kind of at least of what I prepared today to talk about. I feel like that a little bit applied. We are both people who love fashion.
We do.
And self-expression in the form of what you're wearing, how your hair looks, how your makeup looks. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of fashion, and I'm excited we're talking about it today.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm as well. Especially, I will say for the male listeners, or the male leaning listeners in our crowd who like that little that vibe.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that hasn't really been developed for a lot of reasons. There's a sociological thing, at least in the Western world, where it's not really given a lot of importance, and it's not really given the things that you want to project when you're being manly. Are about wealth and status, but in a very different way, and status based on like honestly, like basically in the worst ends of it is your status is the attractiveness of your partner and how much money and shit together you have. And whereas everybody else, including like the nonsense, like the queer, anywhere from the queer to the femme, everything over there, has had time to like consider this because they had that moment back in, at some point of like, well, maybe we should really reflect on what it is to be in, or also we'll get into a little bit of coding and otherwise.
Yeah.
Whereas my gender kind of went, that sounds cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
And only didn't really ever give much thought into a more complex and a more full idea of the notion of masculinity and the notion of what that means and how it can be, and not just for a person, but in the broad spectrum of both mankind, and even branching out into nature itself. And it's one of those things that even the most intelligent together men I know kind of often ignore.
Yes, I think that's probably the better term.
Yes.
I think it's, I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this before. Like I can be a very introverted person.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel like when I dress a certain way, people think that I am not. They're like, oh, you must be very extroverted because of the clothes or the way you're presenting yourself. But I think so much of fashion, style, it's such a way of expressing yourself, like you were saying with coding, which I've learned so much from you. But I feel like, and even doing like a little research for this episode, I think fashion is such an art form. And I think it's often sort of felt like it feels frivolous is not the word that I'm looking for. But like,
yeah, boy, I can't wait to take that one the fuck apart. I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
Ooh.
I think there's so like, sometimes I can get uncomfortable in what I'm wearing because I know it will bring attention, but sometimes I want to wear something that will bring attention. So it's like such a weird.
But it's the kind of attention.
It's the kind of attention,
yes,
which is a very good way to put it. But I do feel like with fashion, like and a lot of the male leaning people in my life, it's almost like it's embarrassing to dress a certain way, or like I don't know if I can pull this off, type of a thing. Where it's like a lot of people get scared of what other people may think of them, which I totally get. But I love this topic.
Oh, I do too, and I think it's very important, especially the world being the way it is today. I think it's especially important, and it's one of those things that can really, it can just do wonders for you on a very specific level.
I do too. I love it so much. As just, I think a lot of it also, like my style changes so much of what I'm into, and obviously, of course, trends and things like that. But a lot of it is just, it is emotionally how I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's daily.
Yes.
It's absolutely daily.
You're choosing how you're presenting yourself to the world. And I think that's so fun. And on this topic.
Yeah, and that's a great topic.
It's a good way to start us off.
So yeah, that's a question that will be answered in this episode.
Yeah, and I loved this as a teenager. I always felt watched when I wore odd fashions that I loved. But the question: when did you find and feel comfortable in your style?
Well, I had an odd style as a child because I could.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a photo.
Oh, you brought photos.
Oh, you are not prepared.
See, I have one on the wall, but oh, sir.
Yep.
What is this cool jacket?
So I don't remember clearly where I got it, but I was very, very much at the time into asymmetrical,
You were
as a
into
young man.
asymmetrical lines?
I loved asymmetrical lines. I loved things that had broken patterns. I had mismatched shoes I was a very big fan of. And things that just broke up, and then primary colors. Apparently, because this is now a thing that has come back, this style.
What is this?
This style, it's very this childish kind of intense primary color thing. And I learned in Japan.
You are.
I was a very intense child.
You were just so
I wanted
prominent.
the vibe.
Yeah, you had the whole vibe.
But apparently, thanks to this lovely young Chinese woman I met in Japan while we were shopping, and who was dressed in kind of the modern form of this, she said it's now called dopamine style.
Okay.
We talked about that a bit.
You were telling me about this.
I was fascinated, and I feel like I was at the forefront of this at some point.
You really were. You were the start of dopamine fashion.
I'll say, as a child, it didn't matter because I was surrounded by adults. So,
yeah.
But
when you see a well-dressed kid.
Oh, yeah. And I was also very into costumes.
Oh, yes.
I sometimes wouldn't leave home unless I was wearing my Superman underoos, because I would tell strangers my name was Clark.
Oh,
so like
what a cutie.
at like the park, and you're like, your little Clark is so cute. And it was like, no, I'm Clark Kenting today. So it was a whole underneath all this. I'm Superman.
Oh my God.
I was that kid.
So you were fashionable. You found it pretty quickly.
I did. I was also surrounded by older people who really had a sense of it. I was really surrounded between my mom, who was very, I hate to call it hippie dippy, but like that 60s faux bohemian.
Yeah.
And still to this day rocks it. And then my grandparents who were very 60s Vegas, they really had that
oh yeah, it was fabulous.
Yeah, they were all Sinatra. They were very Sinatra people, and their friends. And they had a lot of, also growing up, I had a lot of I was surrounded by a lot of older queer men, especially.
Wow.
So because, LA,
of course.
The third generation Hollywood, we had and so there was a lot of men who were very fashionable. And really had a sense of themselves. Not a lot of T-shirts, so to speak, growing up. Didn't see a ton of them.
Wow.
Then meeting real kids, kind of chilled out for a while.
You get that panic when you're like, well, I don't want to be the outsider here.
I don't want to be punched.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I brought it back somewhere in high school. I decided not to care, and found kind of, my answer will not necessarily be useful to you, which is that I had a nervous breakdown and decided that caring about that was stupid, which is a very nervous breakdown thing to do.
Sure.
So and kind of stuck with it. And then the goth thing happened because Jim Henson died, and I was like, I'm gonna wear black, and then I was like, this is fun, and kept doing it for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, there was there's a lot of layers.
But that's what I feel like is so
in and out, of course.
I guess beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
think about fashion is that that's your memory of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of you like with Jim Henson when he died, and you're like, I'm gonna wear all black now.
Yeah, and
this was
there
my
were
black
breaks,
phase
but
of...
man, it definitely hit of like, wow.
Yeah. You get where you feel like you're like settled into your own skin.
Yeah,
which is a feeling that I don't feel often, but I try.
Well, I lose it too. We all lose it on occasion, and thanks to the world we live in now, I don't do this as often because I'm trying to be. Occasionally, I'm trying to move through the world undetected.
Yes.
Yeah. But so there is some camouflage.
Look at this.
So
See this picture. I love this picture
that
so
was
much.
Goth Me. That was in the early 90s. That's in Japan.
So this outfit,
Yeah.
I'm going to make this about myself right now.
No, please.
You had a birthday party, and it was everybody, the
I can't believe you remember
birthday
this.
party, and I remember this because that's why I will always remember this picture of you. Everybody that came to your birthday, this was not at your request. Someone else had made this amazing request. Whitney Moore. Of course.
Yeah.
Because she always has the best themes.
She is
for
also
everything.
a very fashionable woman.
Very fashionable. My God, her style is amazing. So she had everybody dress as a Taliesin Jaffe in their life, and this is what I went dressed as. This was the picture that I chose.
Yeah,
because I basically had all of these things in my closet, so I was lazy.
That was, I mean, like, and I can tell you where every piece of clothing from that came from.
You could?
Like, oh, yeah. I mean, like, I know every bit of it. And then I also, at the time, was trying to do a fade so that my sides were purple and it went to red to sort of give me that Reed Richards graying, but it kind of worked. Hair is tricky.
Hair's tricky.
And it can go wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I mean, oh, God. So, yeah, eventually it just became a thing. So, all right, I'm gonna start. Where do I start? I'm going to start with a letter.
Ooh!
I'm going to start with a letter.
Love this.
So, this is a really fascinating thing. This I found so interesting as a young person. This is a letter that Gene Wilder.
I am so glad that you're doing this.
Do you know this letter?
Yes,
All right.
I do.
So Gene Wilder.
Oh man, I'm so glad you thought of this for this episode.
I mean, this letter really
this.
crystallized a bunch of things for me.
Yes.
Wrote a letter to the costume designer on Willy Wonka when he was about to play Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And it is a very kind, I need you to change it.
Yes, yeah.
It was a very kind, I don't want to wear this. And he explains what it is that he wants in this in a way that only an actor can.
Yes.
And only an actor
and Gene Wilder, no
deep
less.
process.
Yes.
And Gene Wilder is a deep
this.
process actor.
I am so excited. I am such a Gene Wilder fan. This is just, how can you not be?
This is my soul.
Yes.
So, dear Mel, I just received the costume sketches. I'll tell you everything I think without censoring, and you take from my opinion what you like. I assume that the designer took his impressions from the book and didn't know, naturally, who would be playing Willy, and I think for a character in general, they're lovely sketches. I love the main thing, the velvet jacket, and I mean to show by my sketch the exact same color. But I've added 2 large pockets to take away from the svelte feminine line, also in case of a few props. I also think the vest is both appropriate and lovely. It's a floral pattern with a little bit of like a white, by the way.
Yeah.
I own a replica of it. Oh, God.
I didn't know this.
I love the same white flowing shirt and the white gloves. Also, the lighter colored inner silk lining of the jacket. What I don't like is the precise pinpointing in place and time that this costume does. I don't think of Willy as an eccentric who holds onto his 1912 dandy's Sunday suit and wears it in the 1970s, but rather as just an eccentric, where there's no telling what he'll do or where he ever found his getup, except that it strangely fits him. Mm-hmm. Part of this world, part of another, a vain man who knows colors that suit him, yet, with all the oddity, has strangely good taste, something mysterious yet undefined. I'm not a ballet master who skips along with little mincy steps, so, as you see, I've suggested ditching the Robert Helpman trousers. Jumpers, excuse me if I do that, to me belong more to the dancing master. But once elegant, now almost baggy trousers, baggy through preoccupation with more important things, is character. Slime green trousers are icky, but sand-colored trousers are just as unobtrusive for your camera, but tasteful. The hat is terrific, but making it 2 inches shorter would make it more special. Also, a light blue felt hat band to match with the same light blue fluffy bow tie shows a man who knows how to compliment his blue eyes. To match the shoes with the jacket is fay. To match the shoes with the hat is taste. Hope all is well. Talk to you soon. All my best, Gene.
I love that letter so much. Of just how he had such an...
That is iconic.
Yes.
My God.
It's so incredible. And also, I read Willy Wonka maybe, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, I'd never read it.
It's a great read.
And knowing about that letter and what he took from the book
Mm-hmm.
and also writing that to the costume designer, I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah, the book is is a bit more of a spidery character.
Yes, very much
That
so.
is not how Gene played
That is
him
not
at
how he
all.
played him. That is not what he saw. And I just love that he was like, no, the fashion of this character, of how they're how Willy Wonka would want the rest of the world to see him is very specific.
Yeah, his movements are broad, and he uses his walking stick viciously.
Yes.
Like it's always a whack.
Yes. It's it makes you a little nervous.
Yes. And then it's always very nerve-wracking because he does have this I don't want to call it a violent streak, but there is this danger to it.
I am so glad you brought that. I totally forgot about that, and I am pleased as punch.
Yeah, no, it is a thing, and it is a good basis. Listening to someone talk about what they're going to wear with such a specific understanding is so helpful.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Yeah, I feel like as a kid, like finding style, and I thought that was, and feel comfortable in your style. I mean, that rarely happens.
For you?
I mean,
or for people?
For people.
Yes,
I feel like
that's
it takes, I will take a lot of chances. Not all going to be gold.
No.
Like sometimes I look back at stuff and I'm like, that was a terrible choice.
Yep.
But I think like when I feel most comfortable is just like I love vintage. Vintage is my anything that
Not
is.
that I'm wearing any, but yes.
Yeah. But I was also the third kid in my family. So I was always had hand-me-downs. So I was used to it. But I also like pieces that have had another life.
Oh.
Like this jacket. I think this is like it's like a 1920s men's smoking jacket.
Oh,
jacket.
And it's got a great
It's
lining.
falling apart, and I have
yeah.
worn this thing into the ground.
It's what's this called? It's got a shawl collar.
Yes, a shawl collar.
There's only like three. There's only like 3 collars for men's jackets. 3.5, and so men, please, we've really there's only like 3 things that we've done.
Yeah.
But the shawl collar is
the
always
shawl
very
collar
casual.
is very beautiful, and I'm a big fan of it. I think when I was growing up and when I was like turning into a woman, I was uncomfortable with it. And so I wore overalls through like 12 to 16. I still wear overalls as a comfort because they're great. But it was a lot of just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this body. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this amazing body that's developing. I'm just kidding. But I think I want to say like I started finding style, and this is going to sound so silly, but was from Delia's catalogs. And Delia's,
What is Delia's?
Was like late 90s through early 2000s, was a fashion catalog for teenage girls. And it was like, oh, this is kind of a cool style. And then a tomboy, like not dressing super feminine. This is a way that it's kind of like a little bit of a skater style. And it was kind of, and then I went through a period after I saw SLC Punk.
Oh, yeah.
In 1998, where I dressed like that, like up there on the wall.
SLC Punk definitely did some stuff.
Definitely did some
You
stuff.
have to watch the sequel at some point. There's some great outfits.
I would love to.
It's very odd.
I would love to. But I feel like I really got into 1940s and 50s fashion. Not like rockabilly style, but because of learning about the cuts of clothing and how they fit your body, how something is on a bias cut, how it can lay better because of the weave.
I was so upset when I finally discovered that skinny jeans weren't for skinny people. And I was like,
I
now my
know.
legs look great. I just assumed I couldn't fit in them. And now I'm looking, it's just a cut?
And
That's
now,
what you're saying?
supposedly,
I
skinny
look
jeans
great
are
in
out.
those. Oh, I
They're
don't
out
care.
again.
They're wrong.
But here's another thing:
Mm-hmm.
feeling comfortable in your style. I'm not big on trends. I'm big on like what looks good on your body.
Ooh, I'm gonna see if I can find. So I'm gonna find this thing. So way back in the days of LiveJournal, this very odd man who I used to follow wrote an article. You can find it on LiveJournal. It's called The Anxious Interval.
Oh,
And
okay.
what it is it's how he wrote a timeline about how trends function.
Oh, I remember you talking to about this article.
And it starts with the historical past, which are things that are like Beethoven, just things that have like fallen. They're not even beyond fashion. They are basically just where we've come from. We'll get into that actually. The anxious echo is a thing. We'll start at the present. This is what people are wearing. And then there's the anxious interval, which he describes as the moment where you look at photos of yourself and they're just starting to look a little silly. And then there's the battlefront and the gold mine. The gold mine is a historical moment that is being mined by people who are interested in fashion and people who are interested in taste. And that's the battlefront, where everything from before is getting sorted through to be given to the present.
Oh.
So where people are just going and finding those old records from the 70s and finding like bands from the 80s and figuring out what's going to resonate with people now. It's
Just
also
using a sample of it and then putting it in the new.
and that's why like there were 50s cafes that were super popular in the 80s.
Yep.
Because that was an echo of the 1950s, and then the 90s became a thing in the 2000s. And then there's this double echo called the anxious echo, where instead of now, where it's not, let's just say, the 70s or the 60s that we're now mining again, but it was the 60s from the 90s and 80s and 90s. So it's now this extra echo of we're not looking at the actual time, but its original revival of it is now being echoed again, which even changes the way that people are interacting with that moment and the fashion and the culture, the music, etc. So it is this kind of interesting way that these things move through time.
It really is, because it does. Sometimes these things always come back around.
It's a loop and a loop
in some
and a loop.
new or different way, but it's still the same.
Yeah, it just moves.
There's some through line at least.
There's always that through line, and you are somebody I consider who actually does like a few of us hit that battlefront moment of going into older things and finding that's what a secondhand shop is or a vintage store is. Vintage stores have already been curated for the good stuff.
Yeah.
But then you go to a secondhand shop or otherwise, and then you're going into, you're diving into the piles of clothing.
You got to do some work.
Yeah, from
you gotta do some digging.
Years beyond to find that thing.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
Love a Goodwill.
Yeah, love a Goodwill.
Found a Burberry jacket at Goodwill.
My
when
favorite
I was in my 20s.
Oh man,
like
pulling this back up again.
I am so huge on secondhand, and that's also I think there's this really fantastic documentary. Since we're talking about fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Called The True Cost. And if you get a chance to watch it, it is why also I am very extremely against fast fashion.
Yeah.
The Forever 21s, the H&Ms, just because there's so much clothing waste. Now I know we're talking about so many topics here.
We're moving quick, but like that's actually a thing. Also, if you want to be fashionable, don't like see if you can avoid things that are being made in bulk and see if like, and I know that's hard, but like you save money you're going to a secondhand shop or a vintage shop or friends sometimes trade clothing. We have big clothing exchanges on the time.
Exchanges. Love a clothing exchange.
I don't have a picture of this jacket, but yes, I do. If you go to Goth One,
I love how you have these labels.
Oh yeah.
This is just. Look at this.
Thank you.
And your lunchbox.
Yeah, I love a lunchbox.
I love a lunchbox.
But yeah, that jacket I'm wearing, it's this big wool overcoat.
I love that jacket.
I got it for $2 when I was in my early 20s. I still have it. I've repaired it 7 times. I've gotten that $2 out of a secondhand shop. in the middle of damn nowhere, I have gotten my money's worth. And that thing is so
I love
so
that
good.
jacket.
Like I can put together so many outfits for it. And if you do it right, there's one called Drawing, which I'm very proud of, which is this random person when I was having coffee in Venice.
Oh, yes.
20 years ago, 15 years ago.
I've never seen
drew,
this.
Just like was like, here, I drew this. Nice to meet you. Bye. And like, I was just somebody who was
You
sketching
sitting in your
people.
coat looking nice?
Yeah, I was just writing. I
Look
was
at
working
this
on some
outfit.
stuff, and I was like, this is delightful.
Oh my God.
This is one of the things that style can give you is you will be painted. So
Yes. I think I know it's a funny topic because I think people, as I was saying, frivolous, or just like it can be a hard thing to, like, people don't want to seem like they care about how they present themselves, which I get because I feel like there was a period for me even going through like 2020 pandemic where I was like, I don't give a shit what I look like.
That was a rough year for
And
all of us.
It was a rough year for all of us, and I still, after that, I'm sort of trying to find my way back to caring. But I just I think sort of what brought me, there's this incredible designer, Penelope Gazin,
Good name.
and she runs Fashion Brand Company.
Oh God, I love.
And this is a Fashion Brand Company shirt. And
show it off. They're
I
so
think,
good.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really tell. You can see this is.
What does it
I don't even know if
say?
I'm allowed. It just says Fashion Brand Company,
Oh.
and it's
But the Y is
the
sitting.
Y is off
and
because
the
the font is too
BR
big.
dash and like they just filled it.
So she
Very, very them.
the reason I want to talk about her and
Oh,
her
yeah.
company is she's a fashion troll.
Yes.
And I think I've never seen I love anything that is just different and new, and when somebody has something new and exciting to say. And it's just weird clothing that not everybody might wear.
No.
But it's also, I think she's an artist.
Oh, very much so. And fashion
yeah,
trolling.
like,
Fashion
she
trolling
does-
was a thing you would do on the runway, and this is the first
Yes.
like this is fashion trolling for people,
Fashion trolling for people.
not for
And
not for just a gallery.
she makes things that are just like, and even her cataloging of, or not cataloging, the photos of what she puts up online
Are kind of awkward.
they're
and-
awkward.
and-
She has a zine,
Oh, that's fantastic.
but also as an actual artist, she's an incredible artist. She also put out a paint by numbers,
show
which I
off.
purchased, and I'm not done with it yet. There's still a couple spots, but she put out this paint by numbers of this like weird little alien woman.
I love it.
And so I had to buy it,
I love it.
and I had to do it.
Yeah.
There's still some spots that need to be done, but
It's delightful.
But this is all her art.
My favorite sweater. My favorite sweater of yours is from
The Sex House sweater.
Sex House, which is just adorable.
It's a great sweater. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a house that's burning, and it's a sex house.
It's a house
on
that's
it.
burning, but it's like a child's drawing
Yeah.
of a house. Like it's not, and it's like knitted into a knit sweater. It's just
Yeah.
really
It doesn't make any sense.
like grandma made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels very like grandma
It's
made
a
it.
very grandma. And then they had a Christmas edition where it's winter and snowing, which kind of
Yes.
I would wear it, but you already do.
No.
So
Nothing makes me happier than when someone's like, I love that, and I had to get one too.
so
Support
good.
your local artists. Not that I feel like Fashion Brand Company has gotten so popular now, but like, go buy her stuff. She's so good.
Oh, I mean, I try like I will say like the shirt I'm
This
wearing
is
right now.
amazing.
The shirt I'm wearing right now came from a Japanese clothing store that I found in Harajuku in Japan.
We haven't even
a
gotten
few other
into like
things,
Japanese style and clothing.
and it's designed to be what is their byline? No gender, no border.
This is a shirt I would have picked out for myself. to
Yeah,
wear.
and it's super. It's just.
I
airy
just love it.
Yeah,
You have
it's-
an amazing skirt on, and your shoes. Can we talk about your shoes? Because they can't see them. Please lift
Oh
up your
God!
leg
All right,
and
all
show
right.
them.
I'm gonna try and find
These
the one
shoes
where.
are so rad, and I am
And
obsessed.
I'm showing off some skirt and some leg.
Yeah,
There
show
we
off
are.
some leg.
These came from.
Maybe we'll get some more
I bought these
viewers.
in Australia.
Yeah, look at these. I mean,
There's,
you
like,
can
the
bet like
leather.
there's so many different.
Yeah. there's a little
pieces
like
of
the
fabric.
rows.
These are
there.
so cool.
Put some photos up. They came from Imelda's, Imelda of Mulaney. I was in the middle of
Imelda's of Mulaney?
I was in the middle of nowhere in Australia, and I found the greatest shoe store. It was just phenomenal, and I was like, I have to grab something.
That's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, and they were lovely.
Yeah.
And I could buy like 9 pairs from them. It was amazing.
God.
And they really like I have a bag that matches these. They're very Mary Poppins.
They're very Mary Poppins. They're very Mary Poppins.
And a little bit of heel for those who don't know. A little bit of heel. If you learn how to walk them, they're good for your butt. Make you look good.
They do. They do. Some things I learned while looking up some fashion stuff.
Oh,
Just
please.
Some little fashion things that are. This is not important, but I found them interesting. So, Gabrielle Chanel wasn't the greatest person, but we're not going to talk about that right now. She was kind of the first woman who was like abandoning the corset.
I did not know that.
Yes, because like, early 1900s, it was like, meh, that's uncomfortable. I'm going to let us have some little play suits.
Less fainting.
Less fainting.
That's fair.
Which was really great. Big fan of Karl Lagerfeld, which I don't know if you're a fan.
No.
He's like luxury goth. He's like the coolest. He always has the black suits. He's got the black gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy.
All right.
What was crazy that I didn't know, so Yves Saint Laurent, I don't know if you're a Saint Laurent fan. We're talking designers.
Okay, because
we're
that's
talking
like
luxury designer.
I'm a bit grungy, and I'm a
Yes.
bit it depends. I go suits when I'm vintagey, but
I love watching major designers and seeing the stuff that they make and looking on the runway, stuff that probably I would never be able to wear. But I love
it's runway.
It's runway, but I love
no
the
one's
art of
supposed
it.
to wear it. Yeah.
Yes, I love that these people are like, this is a canvas, this body, and this is what I'm going to put on the canvas.
Yeah, runways are not about clothing you're supposed to wear. There's a reason they look that way.
Yeah.
It's about taking things to the extreme so that other people can reel them in. It's about a big idea.
It's about a big idea. So Yves Saint Laurent was working for Christian Dior. Took over Christian Dior at 21.
That's fantastic.
21 years old, but he had to leave to go because he was from Algeria. He had to leave to go fight in the Algerian War. And so Dior was like, well, this is going to complicate things. He's not going to be able to design for us, so we have to fire him. But really, it was because he had to go leave and he had to go fight. And then he went on to make his own brand. It was just amazing.
But he looked great doing it.
But he looked great doing it. And another designer from the past that I think has made is absolutely incredible, and a lot of people don't know her stuff. She was Italian, and her name was Elsa Schiaparelli, and she made so many of her clothes. I think she was like very heavy surrealism and just weird shit. Okay, like weird shit, but also her sleeves. I got to pull up a picture of her sleeves because they really were.
Well, I'll actually say if they're
this. Look at this sleeve.
We're going to have to.
Can we just talk about this sleeve for like a second?
Yeah, right.
Give me the name and I'll Google it.
Like.
We'll pull it up.
Yeah, it's.
That's spectacular.
Her name is a little hard to spell. Anyway, go look up her stuff. She's amazing. She can give inspo for something for anybody. But I'm a big fan of just like.
Have you ever walked a catwalk before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I have one time, and it's a very funny story.
I've done twice, but yeah.
You've done twice?
Just twice.
For when?
Well, we did a Critical Role one.
Oh, that's right.
And then I did. I don't remember the name of the company, but there's actually a picture in the file.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Look at you. Wait, what is this from?
I do not remember, but
Taliesin, you look great.
Thank
What
you.
is this amazing jacket?
I know I did not get to keep it. Did not get to keep any of it, but that's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
whole thing.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, that's when I was backstage, just hanging
looking
out.
like a boss bitch.
Yeah,
Damn, that looks good.
I was trying to wear well.
You do wear it well.
Yeah, I have a series. I'm going to get into a philosophy thing at some point before we go, because I pulled a lot of different looks just because I figured why not.
Why not?
Yeah,
I know.
And I also we have tons of
This
stuff.
I'm really excited to get to. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I was going to say. Oh shit! What was I just going to say?
That's adorable. Should I pick up while you?
Pick up.
All right. I'm going to do a little quick philosophy for people because I know
Yes,
we've just
give it
talked
to
about
me.
where we're sitting, and like the things we like. There's an old saying that you can't judge a book by its cover. That is not about people. You can, in fact, judge people by their cover because they can change their cover at any moment.
Yeah.
That's the glory of what you have to wear. Is what you wear is the very first impression that you can give people, especially strangers, about who you are. They can see you sitting somewhere, and immediately you're sending a signal. You're sending signals of if you're wearing, depending on the kind of T-shirt, what sort of nerd stuff you're into, or what kind of, are you into comic books? Are you into sci-fi? You're literally wearing a brand on your chest. Are you a goth kid? Are you a punk kid? Are you do you have an office job? Do you have all of these things you communicate through what you're wearing before you even talk to somebody. And one of the things, oh God, I'm not going to call out who said this because I feel bad. We were walking around and someone made a joke about the punk uniform and like, oh, it's anarchist, but everyone wears a uniform. And I went and I was just incensed.
You're like, I have something to say about this.
So says jeans and a T-shirt. One moment.
Yes.
It's not a uniform. No. Uniforms designate uniforms are supposed to designate a job. That's not what it does. This is plumage.
Oh, that's a cool way to put it.
Everything is plumage.
Yeah.
Plumage is not it. Plumage is about having a natural selection process for who you want to talk to, who you don't want to talk to, and especially, are you interested in dating? Are you it's very much that bird, the bird's mating where you show off the feathers and you show off what you got. Is like this is the moment where there's a little bit of early selection. And that's that moment where you get to communicate silently with another person to see if there's going to be some basic alignment.
100%.
And
100%.
Whether it's like a friendship or otherwise, is that, and a lot of people, there are a lot of people who do this thing of, well, you have to get to know the real me, and then you'll like me. I'm like, but yeah, you're not making this easy for anyone because you're working so hard to stand not out whatsoever. That if you want to do that, and like, who is the real you? Are you a Star Wars T-shirt and a pair of jeans? Is that it? Is that everything?
Which is okay.
Which is fine. Especially, I'll say, at a sci-fi convention. Especially, and I'll say, if you want to really rock it, find a very find and buy a really interesting T-shirt. Like if you're a Star Wars fan, find that weird one that was custom made that some artist printed out that's got some art that's going to captivate and be interesting, because then people are going to come up and say, that's a crazy ass T-shirt. Where'd you get it?
Yes.
And now you're talking to a Star Wars fan. Well done. You just met somebody.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Just have that moment of just doing, and that's so little, so you don't have to feel like you're putting yourself super out there.
And it does help.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I that's so fascinating because I feel like even though I'm shy and I will get nervous to talk to people, if I'm wearing something, it's a conversation to have.
Yes.
Where I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm having social anxiety. But if someone's like, hey, that's a really cool shirt. You're like, oh, thank you. I got this, and wherever I got this,
it's warm.
It's a built-in.
Sorry,
it's warm.
You're welcome. Sorry, that was an in joke we won't get into.
No, I will not tell anybody that.
But
yes.
like the sex house sweater is a perfect example of there's only a certain type of person that's going to approach you with that, and it's a piece of clothing that both hides, conceals, tells people stay back,
but also communicates.
To the people who are like, that is interesting.
Yeah.
And that is interesting in a way that I feel like I need to converse with, versus that is interesting in a way that I do not feel like I am up to handling that.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful when people communicate that I don't want to talk to them.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It solves a problem.
Like my favorite thing, wearing something and someone like I don't like my goal is not to look pretty. It's to sort of I don't know, like when someone comes up to me and they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Then I'm like, "Yes,
I am a cursed doll.
I am a cursed doll, and I nailed the look I was trying to go for." You know, I love personal style.
Yeah, and I will also, again, speaking for the boys, like we weren't raised on it, and we were
No.
like we were not told how to do it, and we were not told that it is useful. And because of that, so few of us have it, so few of us use it and do it. And when we do, we're often, especially at the beginning, very bad at it. I have so many friends who realize
Or
that
made fun of.
Oh, yeah. And like it's because you either go too hard, which is easy to do, or like you don't know how to wear a suit, so your suit looks like your dad's suit, and you're clearly not comfy wearing it, or it's the wrong fabric for the weather, which can just ruin you as a human. And no one's ever explained to you how to do this and how to express yourself through this. But yeah, it's one of those things that the slightest effort, especially if you're trying to date or make friends, the
that's probably
slightest
yeah,
effort puts you so far ahead of the pack. Like
it really does.
just a tailored T-shirt
Yeah.
is enough to make you more fashionable than 80% of the men on like it's so little.
I'm going to say something that's a little controversial, but I'm going to say it.
Bring it.
So, a man in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wait. Well,
let me
yeah,
just
we'll get into it.
let me just like be a little bit more specific,
Mm-hmm.
such as Mads Mikkelsen and Hannibal.
Oh.
Okay, just going to throw this out. So, Hannibal was a great show. I think it was only 3 seasons. It was based in the world of Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal.
A lot of body horror.
A lot of body horror, so if that's not your thing, totally
Yeah.
get it. You can just look up pictures of Mads Mikkelsen in it. He played Hannibal, but the costume designer of that show put him in these suits, 3-piece suits with these like paisley patterns or tapestries or
Beautiful colors that really nail, and then those ties, and even like the knot that the tie, they use this he wore very, very, this is how much it mattered. He wore very, very wide collared shirts with these extremely big knotted ties.
Yes.
Like the knot they would have is like, I think they would either go for like a full
Windsor knot.
It's a full Windsor, but I
throwing
think
that
a
out
couple
there.
times it was also a Balthus, which is a whole nother thing.
Wow. Just like he was so tight and restrained
And was
like
clean
knotted in.
and fashionable.
Ugh. It was so good, and I feel like
Look,
yes. So, okay, already
Wide
Mads
collar.
Mikkelsen is
Wide
Lord.
collar, plaid vest, matching the colors of the tie, but not the pattern. With a
and that
bright
shit
blue
was
shirt.
tailored so well to his body. I'm really trying.
bespoke.
I'm not trying to like
But
objectify the man.
no, and he understood that the tie. I mean, like the costume designer understood that the tie and the shirt have to battle, but that the tie and the jacket, like,
Yes, it was a
and
cool.
you want to pull some of the color of the suit, and you want to pull some of the color, like you want that thing to kind of be like the final say so.
There's something a little bit,
Mhm.
which I know it's not the same feeling. And I really don't. I'm also hesitant of saying this because I'm like, I don't know how people are gonna feel about this. I kind of feel like a man in a really nice tailored suit probably gives me the same feeling as like seeing a woman in lingerie.
No, I
That's
get
crazy
that.
to say.
No, I get that.
But like something that was like, I think that's, I don't know.
No,
there's something in there that like when I see like a beautifully tailored suit, I'm like, damn.
No, it is, and if you know
That's
how
hot
to
as
do it,
fuck.
and you know, like, and you know that again, like, I love wool suits, but I know where I live.
Yes, that's very hard to wear here.
Yeah. So,
but they're gorgeous.
like a good linen or or seersucker, which are mostly a southern thing, but are the ones that like you won't sweat to death in.
Yes.
And it's a shame, but because I love my velvets and I love my wool, but
Same.
man,
They're hard to wear here
should-
in the heat.
gotta wear,
Yeah.
gotta.
But
move.
I love wearing suits. Like there have been a couple moments for me of wearing like when I've worn a suit and I'm like, this is where I feel like I'm the shit.
I
I'm the most powerful that I feel.
I forgot to put this up, but I'm going to do it. I'm going
Let's
to give
see
this.
it.
So this is my tie drawer,
What?
and this is not everything I own.
Wait,
but this is
that's
just,
insane. That looks like my sock drawer.
Thank
to be
you.
honest with you.
Yeah, no. So this
Wait,
is
you need to
no. We're
show
gonna
this.
put it up there.
Okay,
So, but
that is so beautiful.
thank you.
I didn't know that you went that hard with your drawers and things, and that
go
just
so hard.
that makes me want to. I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to show you the organization of my drawers.
Yeah, and like so. There's two other things I want to show.
Okay.
Do we
yes.
do we start with
no,
Japan?
Go.
Or maybe we start with Japan because it's origin, and then I've got a little gallery.
Let's do it.
But yeah, and I'll also say finding your own unique style. You don't have to commit to anything. You can be whoever you want any day you like.
Absolutely.
Experiment. It's a haircut that lasts a day.
Yeah.
That's the worst
Oh,
that
that's a
can
really
happen.
good way to put it.
You don't have to do 3 weeks going, bangs, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a great way. So a lot of cosplayers, everyone knows what cosplay is.
Yeah.
Does everyone know what bounding is? I should explain.
See, I kind of am learning what this. I feel like I learned about this recently.
Bounding. I'm gonna pretend I know what the origin of it is, and I'm gonna give a fake origin that might be true. True for the people I know, which is that you can't wear a costume. You can't wear cosplay at Disneyland because, for obvious safety reasons, you can't have a customer dressed up like Snow White talking to little children, taking photographs. Because
would they send you out if you came dressed up like that?
Yeah, they won't even let you in. That's a liability issue. Like that is a full on like you are. Yeah, you can't do that. So this thing called bounding means that you actually it's cosplay plus fashion, where it's just you give the sense of the character, but it's just fashionable clothing in a palette and style that expresses it without being obvious.
Okay.
And that's
which you could kind of apply that to everything.
So yeah, this is often bounding on who you want to be. So instead of cosplaying a character, although you can do that, you're like you're cosplaying the future version of you that you like.
Yeah, but just like little bits and pieces. If it scares you to just fully change everything.
Well, yeah, and you don't. It doesn't need to be cosplay. Cosplay is too much. Where it's more of like, and you can go online and find bounding ideas from people, and it's just simple.
Yeah.
And it's gentle, and it's just color, and it's just like using shapes and just starting to play with little things, and those little things you'll figure out your comfort zone. You'll figure out the things that you like, and you will attract like-minded people to you. And then you will have people to kind of have this conversation with. It won't even feel like that conversation, but like it will kind of give you people to talk to. Because sometimes I do the punk, sometimes I do the hippie, the goth, the whole thing.
Whatever you're feeling that day.
Yeah, it's not. You're not set into it.
Yeah.
And then. Oh, God. I know we're supposed to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
And we've talked about Bats Day, which is a goth day at Disneyland. Have we talked about Dapper Day?
No, but I've heard of Dapper Day.
We should do Dapper Day. You go to Disneyland, but you have to dress nice.
Oh, come on.
And
I
usually,
would love that.
And vintage, because the notion is you want to hit the day it opened kind of area.
Yes.
So, I know we're going to run late.
We will do it. We will be doing that.
So when many years ago, when I was living in Japan, there was kind of this beginning of a street fashion craze that was happening when I was living out there in the
sense of
the
style
90s.
In Japan.
They know how to dress.
Don't know
it is
if
a culture
there's any better.
Yeah, it is a culture that really appreciates it, and as an American, you go there and you feel bad. You feel bad for yourself. It's like this is sad.
But I also think going to a place like that sort of helps you find your sense of style.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's how I felt about living in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Paris, where you're like, I can't walk around in these shitty Uggs and like sweatpants and a t-shirt. Like, I gotta up my game a little bit.
So the thing that started happening was there were two street fashion magazines that became very, very popular, where these magazines were literally people going out and photographing people on the street just with what these kids were wearing.
Cool.
And the kids, as these magazines went forward, they also influenced the young people themselves to kind of get more daring. So over the years, it actually influenced it. There was this feedback loop of how much, take it even further. And eventually there was a roll around, which we'll get into, of like reel it in, but still be interesting. The first magazine was called Kerouac. Although they shortened it to Kara later, and those magazines, the old Kerouac ones, excuse me, are impossible to find. But I found some of the Karas, and
Already, this is
we can show
like-
and here's you can take that one, and there's kind of a punk. We'll photograph some of these later, but
whoa.
So these magazines, there are a little bit of makeup tips. There's a little bit of article. There's things about, but you go in here.
Oh my God.
And you'll start to see here's some stuff.
Wow, look at them.
One of them's got a little bit of a punk thing. One of them's got a little bit of a
But how cool
hippie.
are these?
And then
How cool are they?
yeah, and that's like a fashion thing showing off. But like these street photos, you can just see what people were wearing on the street.
Look at this. She's got like a SpongeBob purse.
Oh yeah.
Look at this girl.
I didn't know the
She's so
official
cool.
name of that style. I just started calling them Sherbert kids, which was my
It's
best.
totally like Sherbert.
But Street Snap was kind of what made these magazines
Love a street snap.
huge, and it was like a fashion. And of course, they had to have some comics in the back because that's what you do.
What?
And it was
This is
these
so
really,
cool.
really intense. The people were working really hard to have a vibe. Yeah, and then Baby the Star Shine Bright was a huge company at the time. They were making a bunch
So
of
that's a brand.
Yeah, well, they kind of led into what was called EGL, which is the Elegant Gothic Lolita, which was kind of the look to try and look like a doll,
Yes.
very dollish.
Yes. Which I love that style.
And then years later, we got Fruits magazine. And here's Fruits.
Already that outfit on the cover
So
is...
Fruits is where things got more subtle and a little bit more in your style, where it became a wintry, express yourself, but keep it the colors and tones really reeled in.
See, this is
It
so
started
cool of
bigger.
just like a regular day in the life outfit.
Yeah, but there's
already
so
there's
much
so much
style
going on.
And the later Fruits, once they got away from the Sherbert kids and the goth kids, really pulled. It's a lot of your style, actually. This is why I was excited to get it, is because these are a lot of things I can imagine you wearing.
Every outfit in here, I'm like, I would love.
Just
this
such
outfit.
a great example of looking good, but not having to go goth, punk.
Yeah, but just something a little different.
But just having some ideas. There's a lot of
This guy with these like weird leather boots,
Amazing.
and then he's just this short jean shorts, like
yeah.
so sick.
And then yeah, it's just such a good way of doing it. I actually
Well, how cute is she?
a little bit of a
She's a never mind the bollocks shirt
yeah,
and like
a little punky,
colorful tights.
clearly going out.
I love when people just try shit.
I have to say, I had one set of friends who actually managed to get into one of these magazines. I'm
No way.
So proud of them. I think I have it loaded here somewhere. There we are.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Cool.
They were smug.
So just walking the street,
Years.
just walking down the street,
Yeah,
and
and they
someone
got-
was like, "Can I take a picture of you?"
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, we got into one of the magazines." Yeah.
That is so cool.
And yeah, it's just that's what you did in Harajuku at the time, is you looked good and maybe got photographed. It was great.
It's so cool. I love a street style, like the
And-
Sartorialist, which I think did it in New York.
Yeah.
Love a street style.
And I think we need that back.
I do too. And it's also like it's so easy to pull up those street style photos and be like, I have some of that stuff. I
So-
could throw something like that together.
And the last thing I have, other than this, because I love you all and I should do this, and is I do have a selection of outfits through the ages that I could find that were not too costumey. Sometimes they were at events, but they were also and thankfully no one in these photos who I couldn't get permission from to show them. So I had to
my
avoid
God. a
a bunch of stuff, but because I try not to show
Of
photos of
course.
friends without asking their
Yes,
permission.
of course.
Um,
I can't wait for this.
so we'll start with the one marked Taliesin Sci-Fi, because we were talking about bounding a little bit, and this is bounding. This was actually a trip to Disneyland where we wanted to do Star Wars, but not Star Wars.
Oh yes, I feel like if this was the time that we all went, which I could actually send some photos for this as well. This was March of 2020
Wow.
because I remember we all went there. We're like, is this a good time
Yeah, and then
to
it was
go to a park
and
where there's so many people.
It was right after that everything. Yeah, we were like, oh no.
Yeah, this is a light, subtle
But it's got
Disney bounding.
Yeah, it's a little Star Wars bounding. There's a bit of sci-fi. I've got the side
Such a great
thing,
shot.
a red. Oh yeah, I'm very proud of this shirt, of that, and like yeah, just a little bit like interesting bits and pieces.
Love it.
I'm going to go back to like an old school Gothic. This is called Huntington, where we did like a Victorian. We used to go with friends to the Huntington Library and then dress fancy.
What?
So this was
I
I
love Huntington so much.
So this was like our dress fancy, one of our dress fancy tees back in the day.
Oh, how fun.
Thank you.
Where you would just dress up and go.
Oh yeah.
What a better, like there's
As you should.
just dressing up and going to get some tea
Just
at a
going to get some
museum.
tea. You know, as it is. I'll save those for later. Let's do a little more gothy stuff. So there's one called Richard's Old. I know I'm being, there we are. So this is a vinyl, this ridiculous vinyl vest and ox shirt that I bought in Japan when I was young. Like this was actually me very young, just back from Japan, and this was an outfit I had gotten at this goth store in.
What an outfit, Taliesin.
So the irony is that store is still open.
Is that where you got all this new stuff?
Well, you can go, yeah, if you go to Richard's New, you can see the shirt I just bought from the same store.
I'm obsessed with that shirt. Wow, look at you.
Blew my mind.
That's a great outfit, Taliesin.
And then if you see the Australia stuff I was wearing, like I was trying to go with like this interesting floral. It actually is marked Australia, I think. I'm so bad that, yeah, there we are. Like I was wearing.
Your fits in Australia were.
Thank you.
Great.
The joke.
You don't real fit.
Well, the joke is everyone in LA owns like 15 coats, but there's only 9 cold days. So
correct.
Even if you wear one every day,
the
you
amount
still have 4 that haven't been
never
seen.
get worn. Yeah. The amount of jackets I have don't make sense for where
none
we
of
live.
us.
But I love a jacket. I like winter clothing way better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
A more low key but too much color. The strawberry photos from which you were not here for this, but we were in Europe, and I was like, I'm gonna wear some strawberry shit. And commit to the red. It didn't quite work, but it did okay.
There is something if you're wanting to try dabbling a little bit and getting into some fashion for those of you out there. Sometimes when you go on a trip, it can be easier because you're not around anybody you know.
Yeah.
And you can sort of go out and be like, I'm going to dress up a little.
And if you go a little hard, people will talk to you.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
I wish, I don't know if I have a photo of the outfit I was wearing. I got approached in Japan by this very bizarre, extremely intense Austrian banker who really wanted to talk to me. And it was fascinating, but boy, I don't know how that happened. There's a low-key winter one. Any of the Taliesin Whitney Xmas photos where it was just simple stuff, but a couple fun scarves just to throw it together. Simple and effective.
Yes, simple and effective. Scarf always does a good job. Gives you a little flair.
I'll save that one for last. There's one of Amy Carrero and I when we were supposed to do like high fashion. Fantasy. She is also one of the best dressed human beings on earth.
Amy Carrero, blows my mind with how crafty she is.
Oh.
So even in this photo, she put those on there, the little bows.
Yeah, that was not on the shirt originally.
No, she made that. She makes her own nails.
And they're beautiful.
She's like one of the most artistically crafty, and her fashion sense of style is so fucking cool. I love her so much. Her and Abria.
Oh, yeah.
Abria Iyengar and Amy Carrero are two
really
like people that I look up to their
and like
sense
two
of style.
other we did a Kentucky Derby party a few years ago.
Yes.
And if you look up like Manzi Jenny Derby, like and like Manzi and Jenny, although that is also the same that's the same that's the lavender seersucker.
It's a fantastic
and
suit.
there's like one, and then there's one with all three of us because
Manzi has an incredible sense of style.
Oh yeah,
too.
these are like Manzi
and of course
Jenny just like knew how to hit the vibe.
Jenny Newman dresses us for our live shows, and she's incredible.
And Manzi occasionally comes in for that.
And Manzi
comes
in. She actually did a lot of the stuff for Weird Kids.
Yeah.
For our Weird Kids photos.
And then we had, and then our friend Vanessa is the third, but I don't have any good pictures for reasons. And then like I'm going to get into, I think the last thing I'm going to get into here, looking at all this, is traditional suits, because I love a traditional suit.
Love a traditional suit.
So the first one, I took a trip at one point. Well, that one's less traditional. There's a couple called Old Time Dijings. So I stayed at this ridiculous place. Hey, there's that jacket. That's $2.
Yeah, see, now you can see that it has a print on it.
Yeah, there's this old.
I almost don't want you to say what the place is because I also love this place.
Oh, then I won't say.
And it is a hidden gem.
It is a hidden gem, but it is a great. There we are. That's me. I decided I wanted to like.
God.
That was me trying to write. I was.
This is like the photo of like Franklin Roosevelt when he went out with John Muir.
And I was more or less alone. Like this was me traveling alone, just wanting to be dressed up by myself, in a cabin.
I love you so much.
This was not for anybody. There's also one called Clean Tea, which was you can wear wool. For once, which I was really proud of.
Because it's a little cold.
Well, that one's great too. I love that tie so much.
I love that tie.
That tie belonged to a friend's dad.
Great.
There's Clean
look
Tea.
at this.
And just being able to like hit those, and then just for a slightly punkier look, there's Punk 1, which is a lot of punk is just taking something simple and then fucking with it.
Wow. Yes.
And so.
Look
That's
how
a lot
different
of
you look.
Yeah, it's just
like even just changing the style of just how different you feel in that picture.
It changes
from who you are
because you're cosplaying somebody else.
Yes, it's bounding.
You bound. You got to bound. I wanted to bound.
Bound who you want to be. I love this idea.
Goth red right now is one of those things that I'm so. This is like my most recent overkill.
I love this.
Yeah, and wearing skirts is always great. Like I'm a big fan of wearing a skirt.
Okay, we're gonna do a little side note here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Alan Cumming?
Always.
Does he have an S on the end of his name? Or
No,
is it just Cumming?
it's just an E.
Alan Cumming.
Mm-hmm.
On the Traders.
Yes, I've seen nothing else about it other than his outfit.
The costumes on the Traders of Alan Cumming, so good.
That is a man who dresses well.
Very well, and I feel like you could pull off those clothes.
Thank you. He has that intense bisexual vibe that I strive for.
Oh, yes. Same.
And then
same.
I think the last thing I'm going to show before having a final moment is a picture of us.
A picture of us?
Yeah.
What? Oh.
We were all fancy looking.
We were so fancy looking, and this was just like at the end of the day taking this picture.
Yeah. And I loved I had a great
Pamela Walworth, who's such an incredible photographer, took this photo.
The little Elvis vibe that I had going. I couldn't find it, but I have one where I'm hitchhiking in that, and I look so like fake hitchhiking, that outfit
for a
is
blue
so
vibe.
You.
Yeah, I felt like myself in that.
Yeah, I kept as many things from that shoot as humanly
I tried to.
possible.
I tried to.
You try and steal and hope they don't notice.
So
it's so tough.
I wanted to. This brings me back to something that you talked about earlier.
Oh yes, please.
And this is a present that we have received.
Oh my God!
From some of our fellow weird kids, our baby dumplings, who sent us some treasures. Okay, don't look in that box yet. I already peeked at it because I had to.
My God.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because when Jim Henson passed away and you wore all black. Okay. Dear Ashley and Taliesin, for 34 years, Muppet Vision 3D, Jim Henson's last Muppet project, graced Disney MGM Studios, Disney's Hollywood Studios, with its unique brand of humor and energy, reminding us of what can be produced when a bunch of weird kids get together to create.
Great show.
I thought it would be fitting then for a couple pieces of that to find a home somewhere they can be appreciated. I would like to donate these pairs of Muppet Vision 3D safety goggles to weird kids. Both were used and subsequently sanitized. We love you for that. On the day of its closing. Thank you for Weird Kids and all you both do beyond. Sorry, I'm reading this so bad. Yours in Weird at LT Fusion. And then there's a quote, which you'll know what this is from. Life's like a movie. Write your own ending. Keep believing. Keep pretending. We've done just what we've set out to do, thanks to the lovers, the dreamers, and you. So... This
is exactly, oh, God.
Come on, in this color, too. I feel like this is like...
Oh, what a...
So we
oh.
get that this is a little bit of history.
Oh, this is lovely.
And I feel like this really kind of applied for was the reason you started.
No,
you know?
it definitely it was what led me to it was what led me to goth. Certainly was, and like it made me start wanting to hang out with those kids. Yeah, isn't that odd? Especially since no one wore black at his funeral. There was not allowed. Isn't that odd? Spectacular.
The lovers,
The
dreamers, and me.
So I don't know. Final thoughts. I suppose
Final
this is
thoughts.
great. I feel wonderful.
Final thoughts. Just be yourself.
And if you can't,
I shouldn't give anybody
and if you
final
can't
thoughts.
be yourself, then just be someone else, and that's okay.
It's bound to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, and be bound for the future you want to be. Punk,
Take risks.
wizard,
And risks are small in fashion.
Yeah,
Who cares if it looks shitty?
a knight. Otherwise,
Don't wear it the next day.
And also, I will say before it goes, no matter what your body type, no matter what you think your face looks like, oh my God, you can figure out how to fashion can somehow make so much of that work. I know you don't believe me, but man, it can.
Absolutely.
Boy, you can figure out how to make, if you can find if Kylo Ren and Steve Buscemi can pull it off, you can too.
Absolutely.
God damn, son.
Well, listen. Get out there and go be your fashion selves,
Look
you know?
fabulous.
Look fabulous. What else is there to do? Go be fabulous and look fabulous, 'cause fuck it. What's the point?
I want to see it.
Bye.
Some very important weird information for all of our weird kids. Our new episodes are now starting to release exclusively on beacon.tv. That's right, every Tuesday.
So we are still releasing the final Weird Kids episodes from 2025 every Tuesday on our Weird Kids YouTube channel and on podcast platforms. But our new episodes are exclusively only on beacon.tv.
Beacon.